we can really digest what's going down in the first round. And we don't have to just make like, well, we can make. We just want to update you guys on what we thought about the first round and how wrong we seem to be at this point. So, Matt, what are your thoughts on the playoffs this far?
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. I mean, it literally was unpredictable this year. Last year, one sec. It was a bit predictable. I mean, you had the first round. I mean, you had. I'm so sorry. Yeah. But last year, I think Nashville, Chicago was the only series that was kind of like, you know, Nashville might just win the series
because of Corey Crawford.
It was, and then for Ducks and Jets, yeah, there was a lot of stupid NHL of, you know, the guys who always predict, oh, Jets will win. Everybody knew Ducks would beat the Jets. You know. You just wanted to.
The question with Anaheim has been goaltending for years in the playoffs, but that screw up Jonas Hiller is gone. So, with that being said,
yeah. And what else? What other matchups? Canucks Flames. It could have gone either way, but it nothing too crazy. The Ducks, people were saying would go, and the Hawks would meet in the conference final. You got that. A lot of people said the Rangers and probably Tampa would make it. And it happened. This year, in our predictions, I mean, we picked teams like the Kings to win. We picked teams like the Rangers to win. Actually, I think Gordon might have went with the Penguins, but it was either way pretty much.
Actually, I think I did.
We also picked Detroit.
The Rangers weren't that good.
Yeah. We also picked... I picked Detroit to win. We were we're like, oh, it's Pavel Datsyuk last year. They're going to step it up. The Tampa is, you know, they don't have Stamkos. Honestly, they would. I really think if Stamkos were in this year, they would have won the damn cup. Or at least came close. Huh?
Did I say Tampa?
I think you said Tampa, and I said Detroit. I should have it somewhere around here. I don't right now.
We'll break down the first round matches. So the most underrated matchup, I'll say, of the first round.
Actually, yeah, you said Tampa.
The most underrated matchup of the first round, and now that you got that, I'm glad I said Tampa. Of the first round, I'll say, has been Islanders and Panthers. I'm sorry, I couldn't fathom to say the words, but the Florida Panthers are in the NHL playoffs. Those just aren't words that come out of your mouth on a daily basis. But yeah, that's been probably the most underrated player.
The most what?
Underrated.
Sorry. I kind of want Florida to win so they can play Tampa. I think that'll be a better series than the Islanders and Tampa, but we'll see tomorrow how things go. But yeah, that was a great series. I mean, it's been so far.
Well, you know, let's go over. Actually, how many teams do we have out? San Jose. Is the only one down?
LA's out.
Yeah, LA's out. Sorry, LA's out, and who else?
Detroit's out, and New York is out.
As of today, yeah, the Rangers are out. So, LA, I think, is the biggest shock over them.
Yeah, we'll get to LA last. Let's talk about Detroit real quick. Pavel Datsyuk is probably done, Gordon.
He said he won't close the door on an NHL return.
Do you think this was his last season?
I think this is... my timetable, Datsyuk will return in 3 years. How old is he?
Oh, he's old. This dude's like...
At the most, I think Datsyuk is 35. I'll do it.
No, continue? He's older than that. He is 37.
Maybe 2 years. 2 years, he'll come back, go somewhere like LA, Anaheim, Chicago, or if the Sabres are in prime position.
Screw LA.
But Madam's just being realistic with you. He'll go somewhere we have a chance to get into the playoffs.
I think he's gonna go with a younger team, like maybe like Calgary or Florida.
Matt, at
Maybe
that
not Florida,
point,
but
at that point, I think Datsuk will know. It's toward the end of my career. It's time for me to win another cup.
exactly, that's what's gonna go. Oh yeah, but I mean,
I don't think Calgary at that point in time will be in that prime of a position because where they're drafting this year, the kid they're going to get is going to take at least 2-3 years to develop.
Maybe Tampa he goes to.
That is an option, yeah.
I mean, yeah, him and Iserman. So.
Oh yeah, I can see what you're talking about there. Yeah.
So maybe Tampa, but what I thought the Tampa Bay Detroit series was epic. I think it was the best series in round one from the start. Maybe not from the finish, but the start of it. I mean, it was physical. Abdul Kader pissing everybody off. Him and the Brian Boyle fight was epic, even though no fists, but just watching him troll Abdul Kader was just the shit. And then Mrazek coming in, getting the shutout.
Yeah, that's another thing. Can I just say that I was right about that the entire time? Starting Jimmy Howard from square one, and I don't care if they say it wasn't his fault, kind of was a bad idea because the moment Peter Mrazek came in, and like, people will probably say to me, "Oh, you're contradicting yourself." And I'll get to the point where people probably say that later, but it comes down to John Gibson. But that's later. Mrazek came in, the entire flow of the series changed. The entirety of the flow of the series changed. Like Detroit actually looked they had a chance. And let's just put it like this: Tampa's injured, and they were just killing Detroit with Jimmy Howard in net. That's nothing against Jimmy Howard, but he's not the Jimmy Howard that he was back in 2011, 2012, back in 09-10 when he stole the job from Chris Osgood.
Yeah. I mean, but Mrazek this whole season, he's the man pretty much. I mean,
this situation reminds me of the Elliot Allen situation. It really does.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean,
go ahead.
We'll probably talk more about Jimmy Howard during the off season, but I'll just say now, I would not be surprised if he got traded over the off season.
Wasn't this the last year of a contract?
No, I think it's actually Mrazek's, but they're gonna re-sign him.
They'll re-sign him. They'll trade Howard, or if he is up for contract, his rights, and call it a day.
Yeah. Throughout the whole series, let me go back to. All right, let's look at Detroit real quick. Yeah, I have them all right here. So game one, Tampa won 3-2. Howard gives up 3 goals. Game 2, Lightning win 5-2. So that's.
And how much more can I stress? This is an injured Tampa team with no Steven Stamkos.
Yeah. 8 goals in 2 games. And then Tampa wins 3-2. So 11 goals in 3 games. 11 goals in 3 games. And then, wait, hold on. I might have done that wrong, actually. Let me check one more time. My bad.
Well, this isn't the only series I have this. I can also mention that in this game that's going on here, the Washington Philly one, it's going on this game with Philly leads 1-0. Liam McHugh on NBC at one point had been making jokes because how this series had been so one-sided and Steve Mason was in that on a big goal from the controversy that I knew I was right about from the start. Not to pump my own ego, I'm just saying at this point. But let me put it this way, to justify the point that I was going to make. Philly had not been able to score so much at one point that Braden Holtby had more points than some of the guys in Philadelphia.
Shoot, yeah.
And these guys, like, we're talking guys like Wayne Simmons, who was like second or third in the NHL in penalty minutes. Guys like Simmons, guys like Giroux, guys, even though I'm not a fan of him, he's done pretty good with Voracek. All kinds of guys like that. But
it's crazy.
Did you find what you're looking for?
Yeah, I got it. So, yeah. So Howard gave up 8 goals in 2 games. And, or it might have been 3, but either way. And, well, throughout the whole series, Mrazek only surrendered 4 goals. His first game, he got a shutout. And then his last game, it was a 1-goal game. So,
It was
I
just
mean,
too little
because
too
of
late.
them, Mrazic's young. Yeah.
And I wouldn't even blame them Mrazek. Like, people
And
say, oh, well, you know, it wasn't Howard's fault. You know, things are breaking down around him. Well, but he's still a goaltender, and there's still saves that he has to make. So at the end of the day, if
yeah,
Mrazek can pull this, if Mrazek could pull the games closer than they were, then it, to a degree, was some of Jimmy Howard's fault.
yeah. I mean, who knows? What if Detroit would have gotten swept with Howard? I'm nothing against Jimmy Howard, but let's just think they had the dude solved from the start. I mean, how do you know the last game would have been a 4-0 shutout instead of a 1-0 shutout?
Oh boy. Dude, all I can say to you is this point. I'm not a fan. Like, I'm not a fan, and I'll even say it myself. Of teams with goaltending controversies. I'm a firm believer because of what I grew up watching from Buffalo. There's one guy you don't have problems. Like, if you have to switch or you don't know who is your number one in the net, then it'll come back to bite you in the playoffs if you choose the wrong guy. If you have a concrete number one solid starter who starts 60 games a year, then you're fine.
It's a bit different for my Ducks, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
But Tampa, Detroit, hard hitting. If it was Datsuk's last year, I'm not a fan of Detroit, people know, but I do like Pavel Datsuk. In my opinion, he was, out of all the players, you know, the past decade or whatever, if you look at their highlights and just all the great goals, I mean, you have Crosby, Ovechkin, Taves, Kane, and then
Bobby
it
Ryan
goes
was in
on.
that group, but he slid out.
Yeah, but Pavel Datsuk, he was the one I think that impressed me the most when it came to just, you know, just how he plays the sport. Hall of Famer for sure. And if there was last year, thank you, Pavel Datsuk. You are the man, and you deserve to end your career on a high note. And it would have been nice with the cup, but who knows? He's probably going to return one last time.
Pavel Datsuk is probably one of the best defensive forwards I knew too.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know how many
sure.
times he won the Selkie, but I know he has won the Selkie before. Like the best defensive forward award.
Yeah.
And to boot with that, you know, scoring 25, 30 goals a year.
Yeah, and then the Magic Man. I mean,
the man had hands of silk. Like, that's what put him in.
exactly.
I think we've beaten this series to its end. I mean, I can say, like, we basically came down and said, oh, no, we didn't even talk about the Tampa scoring. Like, I've said it 12 times already. This is an injured Tampa team, but Tyler Johnson and Nikita Kucherov were sitting there just tearing things apart.
Jonathan Drouin, too. I mean,
oh, yeah,
he was just there on the ice. He was noticeable.
That's Strawman. That's like that Drouin shot that Strawman tipped in. Like the passing of this man is precise. Like everything that he was touted about, like, and I know it's 3 years later, and it's like when his contract should be up, but everything that was said about him coming out of the draft was absolutely true. You know, like not everything because he didn't score any goals, but still, you know what I mean, Matt? You get it.
He's a playmaker more.
Yeah.
He's like, I mean, he's like the Getzlaff out of the Getzlaff and Perry, pretty much.
And I think if they can get this out of Drouin, I think they might. I'm not gonna say they might. They do want to re-sign Stamkos. Just they have a couple of contracts that they have to decide. Okay, you're a great player, but we're gonna have to let you go and just believe in our system. Because the Syracuse Crunch, Tampa Bay's minor league system, they are pretty good. So they might have to bring some of the other kids up. And why is this game not resembling real life where Neuvirth is stumping everything?
But we'll really get into what we think will happen between Drouin and Stamkos. But yeah, and Tyler Johnson, like you're saying, huh?
Drouin's not a free agent yet. That'll be this coming year after this one. Oh no, I think he is.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if they're gonna want to trade him, like they were saying, because they were gonna try to trade him during the, you know, the deadline.
Oh yeah, but so him and Eisenman, I think they cleared everything up. Oh yeah, but going back to Tyler Johnson.
He remains the man in the playoffs as of right now.
Dude, it's incredible what him and Kucherov can do.
Johnson is a playoff performer for sure. He was the best last year. I don't know if he'll be the best this year, but I mean, he's a man pretty much. I love Tyler Johnson, and actually I'll get into that after once we kind of. But there's something I want to say about him, but it'll be a bit later once we get down more of the steeper series. But I thought, I mean, I love Tampa Detroit. Like I said, it was physical, it was fast. Just a great series. Wish it would have kind of ended in Detroit, but.
Another one of those underrated series I'll talk about. This, honestly, was Tampa, like, okay, this is basically like young team versus young team, future versus future. I know it's crazy to say these guys are the future when you're talking about the Detroit Red Wings, but they've stacked up a young minor league system. Then they put most of those guys on their NHL teams, and they've done it the old school way of getting good. While they've been good and they've had great guys, they've, meanwhile built up the old school way of how you get good in today's NHL. Well, not in today's NHL, in the NHL of yesterday.
Yeah.
That's the best way to say that.
Is there anything else you want to add on this series?
Who's Tampa's gonna have to face? Florida next, or they're facing
the Islanders next.
Florida Islanders. I really wanted to be Florida.
Yeah. Or speaking of, I'll say it now, the Riley Smith, he's tearing it up with the Panthers, so him and Johnson, that'd be kind of cool to see them, they'd be both really competitive.
Oh, yeah.
Because they've both just been a beast in the series, but the Islanders do kind of carry that, so we'll get into the Islanders Florida a bit later. And like we said, it's underrated, so we will be talking about that, and yeah, well, I have some stuff to say about that, but do you want to get into Pittsburgh, New York?
Look, I've said it from day one that we started this podcast, even from the rebranding of it. I am a fan of it. Personally, I am a fan of this podcast. Like, not of this podcast, I'm sorry. I'm a fan of the Penguins, but I honestly, I had my doubts. Like, I'm like, this is the weakest Ranger team you'll get. Like I've said it since the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, I said it to you in the beginning of the year, Matt. They're not that good, but you were telling me their record and Lundqvist, I'm like, yeah, Lundqvist, he'll calm down.
Yeah, he did.
Lundqvist is what kept them up. And they were second in the division. Then Pittsburgh, after the All-Star game, was the second best team in the league. And then
it turned it up.
Yeah.
They're the Ducks of the East.
Yeah, that's it. Funny, I've been saying that for years. That's it.
Yeah.
And then they get a young goalie too. They get two young goalies.
Oh yeah.
Matt Murray's the actual answer. Yeah. They're the Ducks.
Two great ones.
But
I mean,
go ahead.
But this series, I predicted New York. I'm pretty sure I said, Pittsburgh could win it because they've been white hot. And last year Rangers won in 5, but this year it was the other way around. Except the only difference is, one team didn't lose in overtime in Game 5. One team got their ass absolutely whooped from Game 1 and Game 5.
True. Wait, do you still have the predictions? Like written down?
I have them somewhere on here. Just gotta find where I put them. I think you grab my notebook
well, let me say,
right
if I
here.
took the Rangers, they were just basically saying, I don't think Malkin and Crosby can do it and everything. Oh yeah, and that's another thing with the series. Malkin came back and it didn't screw them over.
Yeah, they were saying, well, they lost that one game, his first game back, and then when it's screwing with their chemistry.
Not really.
And it, yeah, I think we predicted the Rangers. I have it right here. We predicted Rangers. But you did say, you were saying, you think Pittsburgh can do it. I was mainly one from New York's going to do it.
Well, I had the belief. I just wanted to know. All it needed, the only thing that needed to be confirmed to me was, will Crosby show up? Will Malkin show up? Because, Crosby in the playoffs is weird. He'll show up for, the first half of the series and just die off the second half of the series.
Yeah.
Malkin, the dude's invisible. Like I said, he goes out somewhere and lets somebody wear his jersey and play with him.
Yeah. But, you look at the games. So Lundqvist, he didn't play the game all the way. I think it was Brassard who jacked in the eye. So, Penguins won the game 5-2. Let's see, where was game 2? Game 2, Rangers won 4-2. So right there, like, okay, it's probably gonna be a bit even. Game 3, Penguins won 3-1. And then Game 4, Penguins shut out 5-0. That's when Murray came in, actually. And then I think that's the one when Malkin had the 4 points.
Yeah, it was.
And then obviously today, the Penguins won 6-3. Now, one thing I want to say about this series, I'm not saying this because I don't like either team. And to be fair, last season I did enjoy the series. Actually, the past few seasons when they played, I enjoyed the series.
I'm sorry, Matt. I don't know how you enjoyed that. Like, both of those games had the same 2-1 final. It was like those games were boring.
Yeah.
Like, the Penguins last year was slow and boring. Mike Johnston killed what that team was. Like, he tried to turn the Penguins into the Kings. Is basically what I'm trying to say. Like,
They were.
like you know how Foyer was playing well last year, right?
Yeah.
He figured if they slow it down, Marc-Andre Fleury actually has a chance to, do something. Whereas if this year, it's, with the new coach, I can't even remember his name right now. But ever since he's come in and Johnston's got fired, it's lit a spark.
Yeah. But honestly, this series for me was the weakest out of all of them. If you liked it, if you're a Rangers fan, or a Penguins fan, of course, if you enjoyed it, I'm sure if you're a Penguins fan, you loved it, watching them just dominate like that. But,
exactly, like, it was like the moment of dominance.
But,
like, in the playoffs, like, it's cool, like, if you're a fan of a team to see moments of dominance, but, like, if, like, you're an all-around viewer of the entire league and you really just want to see good hockey, it's not really that fun.
And a funny thing, though, about this playoffs with the Rangers and Penguins is, one thing they say is, oh, well, Rick Nash needs to score more goals. He did good in this series, but they still lost.
And it's mainly to the, like, people say, how do the Rangers win? My answer every year is Hammer Lundqvist, because that's the reason they win. Like, I'm not even lying. I'm being straight up honest. Hammer Lundqvist is the sole reason they do as well as they do.
And it sucks as he's getting older, and it's like, I really want this guy to win the cup, but I don't want him to do it with the Rangers. But at the same time, the Rangers kind of deserve it in a way. But
dude, the Rangers have been
I really want to.
The Rangers have been. I'm not gonna say the Devils, because that's like a little over exaggerated.
No, they're more fun to watch than the Devils.
They're more fun to watch.
Rangers have
good
games still.
The Rangers have good games, but it's just like their style of play is not my cup of tea. It really isn't.
Yeah.
And I like, we've seen the Rangers in the cup against the Kings. Oh my God, that was god awful.
Yeah, that was boring. Game 2 was good, I'll admit, but everything else was lame.
Yeah. And I guess I was a little out of it too, because at the time I'd still been depressed over what happened with Chicago and LA. I probably hadn't had my all into watching that, so. Yeah.
Me too. That was back when I really liked the Hawks. They beat my Ducks in the second round and beat the Hawks in the third. So, but yeah. So back to them though, the Rangers. I mean, I don't know what it is. It's weird. I don't know if I doubt they can't trade Lundqvist. He's gonna retire as a Ranger.
They'll never
but
do that. No, they know where their future lies, and it lies behind Henrik Lundqvist.
Real quick, actually. Well, once again, if anything comes up, like a rumor, we'll talk about it during the off season. But what do you think? Do you think Fleury? Do you think anything can happen with him? Because Zadkov, or how is that how you say his name? Zadkov or
Zadkov?
Yeah, him and Matt Murray. I mean, they can do it.
I believe
they can both do it.
Marc-Andre Fleury's ran his course. Trade him, you'll get nothing more than a second-round pick for the guy. Maybe we trade him in a package. I don't know. You keep Kessel, because Kessel's actually... You think about it like this. Phil Kessel is secondary scoring. Try to be Malkin on that team, and Phil Kessel's accepted his role.
He's on the third line.
He's secondary scoring.
Yeah. I mean, and if you kind of look, if you want to talk about Penguins and the Ducks, yeah, all right, they brought in,
Good Kessler even plays third line from time to time.
Yeah, well, he is. He's on the third line. He's with Hagelin and Nick Bonino, former Duck. Actually, both were Ducks, Hagelin and Bonino. And they're on the third line. So if you look at those top three lines, it's deadly. I would say same with the Ducks. The Getzoff line, you have the Kessler line, then you have the Perry line. Those are elite players on each. And both of those teams got white hot with those changing of lineups
And
for the second half.
Like, you weren't a fan of it, but this is how I honestly felt throughout the entire year, Matt. Like, you were saying, like, Gestoff and Perry can't play without each other. It creates more depth, dude. It creates, like
Yeah.
they help guys get better.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for us, we have Perry and Raquel. Raquel is the beast of a young guy, and he's doing good, and putting him with Perry adds depth. I mean, you can't really even say we have a third line. It's like, because last year in the playoffs, our first line, we had two lines, Kessler, the shutdown line, and the Getzoff and Perry line. The other lines are just young guys, pretty much. And now even Nate Thompson, our fourth line guy, they moved him up because how good he's been doing lately. But now you have Horkoff at the bottom line. You have McGinn on the fourth line, but him and Stewart Horkoff have such good chemistry now that you can't really split them up. So it's almost, I wouldn't even call it a fourth line because it's almost disrespectful especially for McGinn.
But see, dude, Jamie
You can throw him anywhere.
Jamie McGinn defines depth.
Huh?
Jamie McGinn defines depth.
Exactly. Like, if you were to need a third line guy or even a second line guy, McGinn can fill either role, even the top line.
He can play anywhere. Like he played on the Sabres top line when Evander Kane was injured this year. And he played with Eichel for like 2 months of the season, and he did just fine, actually.
He's one of the best depth players in the league, pretty much.
Yes, and this would explain, like, and like you asked, like, oh, well, Jaden McGinn gets traded all the time. Well, the reasoning behind that is you get him as a depth guy. Like, what do you call it? San Jose traded him to, what do you call it? To Colorado, because Colorado was going down the stretch that year, and they were rushing to make the playoffs. And they knew, oh, if we get a guy like McGinn, he'll score us, down the stretch. They had like 7 or 8 games left. He'll score us a good 5-6 goals down the stretch, and he'll help us get into the playoffs. And I even watched him play against the Sabres, and he was playing with Landeskog, and he made Landeskog, like, I'm not going to say he carried Landeskog, because that's not the case, but Landeskog was great, and that was his rookie year. He made Landeskog so much better. Like, he really did.
Yeah.
Like, and that's
and
what
then
they
with Buffalo, you just couldn't re-sign him pretty much, so
yeah, he
it's
wanted
almost
too much money,
wasn't...
and, what do you call it, Tim Murray wants to stay for the offseason.
And then with the Ducks, so he might be a rental for us, but I'd love to keep him. So I kind of hope he does stick with the team because he's underrated. He's great. So yeah, we'll get into the Ducks after. We'll talk about Penguins Rangers here. We'll wrap it up real quick with that. But yeah, it shows the Penguins just have depth. My bad. I mean, having Phil Kessel on the third line is just they can stop. They're going to be tough to stop. It's going to be great to see them in the Caps, or maybe them in the Flyers. We'll talk about that once the series is over, but it's most likely to be them in the Caps.
Okay. I've said it since the beginning of the year. Michael Novak is the man.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, but
we'll talk about...
Let me reach my point here in the Pittsburgh. Matt, let me bring up the revelation I really found out earlier after the Hawks game. When it came down to, like, we always talk about what the draft does for losing teams. Let's break it down into what it does for winning teams. Let's say you have a team like the Capitals who are going to be drafting. And see, it's not even like they're drafting 30th because it depends on where they finish. But let's just say they win the cup. Like let's just say that. They draft 30th because that's just the easiest position to put them in. A guy taking 30th in the first round, or mid-20s in the first round, like a Brandon Saad was, those guys take 2 or 3 years in the minors to develop, and that, like, with those 2 or 3 years, you eventually lose guys, who you probably can't afford, or want too much money, or don't want to be there anymore. And then those guys step up. They're all right the first year, maybe the second year, and then they really break out and they get good.
Yeah.
And then around that gives you enough time to, like, maintain how good you are. Think about Detroit, how they've been good for 25 years.
Yeah. Sammy Vatanen was drafted not high. And he's arguably the Ducks' best defenseman.
Yep.
Well, Hampus Lindholm, I guess, but Vatanen's second best. Exactly. Scoring.
Not drafted very high, but they can do something for a team.
So, yeah, so Penguins Rangers, probably my least favorite series, to be honest, but I'm happy the Penguins won because we get to see either if the Flyers get lucky, which I doubt they will. Another Flyers.
We'll see Flyers Penguins, which would be really exciting because Matt Murray versus Michael Neuvirth, and then you have the scoring. Or we're gonna see Crosby versus Ovechkin in the playoffs once again.
Which is what we're most likely gonna get. We're pretty much gonna get Ovechkin versus Crosby.
Are you really gonna doubt Michael Neuvirth right now?
I mean, I'm not. It's not that. It's just the Capitals. It's. I don't think they got that far or so good.
Braden Holtby got out. Not Braden Holtby. Michael Neuvirth made almost 40 saves in a shutout, and his team only had 8 shots behind him. It just takes one shot.
I realize that. Michael Neuvirth is the man. I love him. He's way better than Mason, but it's the Capitals. This is the best team in the entire league right now.
The only way I can say,
I can't even
say if they offensively bombarded them because they did that Friday and it didn't work.
But they have time. It's not like it ended the series. One game can end it. Maybe the Flyers at least force Game 7. Maybe it's an overtime game or something. Michael Neuvirth, I doubt he's going to choke like Mason did. Maybe if you started Neuvirth early, it would have been different. Maybe we would have already been seeing, like, maybe the series could have been tied at least going into 6. Or not, but you know what I mean.
I'll say tied.
It's 3-2 now. Huh?
I'll say tied. In the simulation game, the Capitals just won 3-1. They got an empty netter. And Neuvirth and Holtby basically made every save they possibly could.
So, I love Neuvirth. Believe me, I'm a Flyers fan. Not an asshole one. The shit they pulled, I don't even want to talk about it. It's scummy, it's annoying, but fuck them. I don't live in Philadelphia, so I'm not going to bother with them. But, Neuvirth held them in it for sure. We could have gotten, swept easily. We could have, last game, we had no business winning because, 11 shots, a whole entire game, and we won. It was Neuvirth. It was Neuvirth. He should have been all 3 stars of the night, not just, the 1 star. He had them all
goal
pretty
was
much.
probably the luckiest thing I've ever seen in the playoff game. If that doesn't happen,
oh yeah, for sure.
It goes to overtime, and Ovechkin definitely wins it. I think the man had like 9 shots on goal that entire game.
I think they might. It's gonna be close, but I think Capitals will barely escape, and we're gonna get the Penguins and the Capitals. And if there is a team that can stop the Penguins, it's the Capitals. If there's a team that can stop the Capitals, I think it is the Penguins at this point.
Yeah, other than that, whoever wins that series is basically bound for the Eastern Conference Final. Not the Eastern Conference Final.
To go to the, I say whoever wins that's going to the final. Tampa's going to be hard, but this series I think is just going to be it. That's why if we get that, we're getting ahead of ourselves though, talk about that, but that's the thing we're going to get, so. Yeah, we talked Penguins, Rangers. Let's go to the San Jose Sharks versus the Los Angeles Kings. My bad. Now, believe me, people, I hate the Sharks, and the Kings are my least favorite thing on this earth.
And you can just jump right from saying the Queens.
Yeah. Now, Sharks, I know a lot of Sharks fans. There's your peaceful ones. There's your asshole ones, but, the asshole ones don't live near where I live. It's more of the asshole Kings fans where I live. No offense if you're a cool Kings fan, I know a bunch of you. I have friends that are Kings fans, but we hate each other. We absolutely hate each other, and, they might get pissed what I'm saying, but they want us to lose. I was talking to one yesterday, they're like, I just hope you guys lose in the first round, too, because it's not that, it's like, well, if we're gonna lose, you guys need to lose, too. Now, Game 1, the Sharks took 4-3. Now I'm like, okay, Kings are going to win the next 4. Because I predicted the Kings to sweep them or win in 5. The reason is, no offense to you Sharks fans, but after what the Kings did last time, it's like, if the Kings come with their mentality, like, we did this all year. We dominated all year. We missed the playoff last year. We came back. We kicked ass all year. And, first round playing the Sharks, a team we came back, they had a 3-0 lead and we came back and won. If that means we can pretty much sweep them if we wanted to, or at least win in 5. The total opposite. The Sharks win in 5, obviously. We'll get into that right now. So you got game 1. Sharks win 4-3. Barely hang on. Once again, game 2. Sharks win 2-1. Huh?
Didn't the Sharks have a 3-0 lead?
Again? No, they had a 2-0 lead.
No,
so 2-1.
I'm talking about in game 1.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And then game 3, the Kings won in overtime, and I'm like, I knew it. There was no way the Sharks were getting a 3-0 series lead again. Now, for the hockey fan in me, or not the fan, I guess, but the fun part, I guess, that's not like the Ducks fan, the hockey fan, I wanted to see the Sharks go 3-0 again just to see what would happen. Didn't get to see it. And then, so yeah, Kings won in overtime. Gordon, we're watching that one together? Yeah, we were.
Tanner Pearson.
Yep, Tanner Pearson. And then the next game, we're like, okay, Kings will just tie it up. Sharks win 3-2. Going back to Staples, I'm like, there's no way the Sharks can end it. I wanted them to, because I'm a bit scared of the Sharks. I think you should be now. But I think the Ducks have a better chance at beating them than the Kings if the Ducks make it to the second round. Kings games are just too stressful. Now, I hate the Sharks, but the games are not as bad for me. If we lost the Sharks, yeah, I'd hate them more, but nothing, it's impossible to hate any team in the league more than the Kings, so. Gordon, did you watch this game? Game 5?
The one from last night?
Yeah.
I did not, my friend.
Okay, do you know how the game happened, though?
I heard about it.
Okay, so I'll explain to people. Let's just say you didn't. Who cares if you don't give my opinion? Once again, the Sharks, I think out of the 5 games, 4 times they scored on the first shot on goal, which was like at least a minute in or 2 minutes in. Last night, they scored at the beginning. Shocked. I'm like, you know, usually quick. You know, like Brown said a few years ago, you know, we play our best when we look at each other in the locker room because we know that it's like, Dustin Brown even said, he's as bad of a player he's been. He is a good talker. He says, I know Quick's going to bring it, I know Doughty's going to bring it, I know Kopitar's going to bring it, I know Carter's going to bring it, Gabrick, the list goes on. And they come back. That's what they do. They score on Quick, 1-0. 2 minutes later, 2-0. And it's 3-0. And then, right when you think, oh my god, they got Quick, the Kings score 3 goals to tie it. I'm like, okay. I'm like, exactly. That's the choking Sharks. That's what happens. Third period. Ah, shit, who scored? I know Brent Burns did the pass. I forgot who scored, but makes it 4-3. 10 minutes left. I'm like, okay, the Kings, they've scored late before. They've done it against the Ducks. They've done it against the Hawks. They'll do it again. Oh, 5 minutes left, or 3 minutes left, I forgot. Joe Pavelski comes in, makes it 5-3. And I'm sitting here, oh my god. Are we gonna see handshakes? I was actually thinking about that all yesterday. Are we gonna see handshakes? And once they hit the empty net, make it 6, I said, the King season is done. And I hate to be a cocky jerk, but it did feel good. Just like the Ducks were gonna lose, Kings fans would say the same thing. The Kings fell, and they lost. It's weird. It's really weird because this team I predicted to go and win the damn cup. Right here, I said they'd beat the Sharks round 1, they'd beat the Ducks, sadly. They beat the fucking Hawks, I think. And then they beat the Capitals. They lost in 5 games. It cost me $50 unless the Hawks can win. Then I don't have to pay anything. But they came out, and I don't know. It's weird. They missed the playoffs last year, and they make it and lose in the first round. It's crazy, and it's weird because Gordon was saying before we talk, Gordon, what's weird about the Kings season this season and different from the past ones?
They score goals in the beginning, not in the they don't score goals in the regular season. They went out for goaltending, but they scored goals this year and went out for goaltending. And then it broke down to what happens in the regular season the past couple of years. They don't, like, that's what happened to them last year. And that's how they didn't make the playoffs. They didn't score goals. Jonathan Quick was Jonathan Quick. There was nothing different about that. I think the dude even won 40 games this year. No, he might have won like somewhere around 30 something. Doesn't really matter. But point being, the Kings didn't score in the playoffs. They didn't score timely, and they didn't get their secondary scoring like they usually would. But mostly it was timely goals, and they didn't get those.
Yeah.
And the Sharks were game.
Yeah, and a lot of Kings fans were telling me they're scared, and I'm like, I don't get why you guys are so scared. You guys, at the last minute, you guys are able to come out in ways. And they're shuffling their lines. They're going through what the Ducks were going through at the beginning of the year. Shuffling lines, and even the Hawks were doing this at the beginning of the series, right? With the Blues? They're shuffling lines around a bit. Are they doing that?
In Game 1, yes. Game 2, not so much. And then from there, yeah.
And, so, what happens there is, you know, they're shuffling lines, and they just don't do it. It's weird. I didn't expect it. I'm a bit happy because, you know, a lot of Kings fans at school, they were talking shit before the series started, even though we won the division title. And then we went down to 0-2, pretty much. And then they won their second game. They talked a little crap. We won ours then, or third game, my bad, not second. We were able to come back and actually take a series lead. Good to let that out. And then they just couldn't do it. It's weird. Gord, I forgot. You even said in one day, you're like, what if the Sharks win in 5? I think you said it before our last podcast. You said that to me, and I said it's not happening.
Oh, yeah, because I said this. I'm like, you may doubt the Sharks, but I have a feeling this year they can steal a series.
Yeah, you said they'd steal it in 5 to me. But I know, listen, it's the Kings, you know what's going to happen. So technically Gordon did predict the Sharks. We did say the Kings in the last video because we came to agreement for the most part. But he did have that, you know, if Sharks are going to win, they're going to end it quick.
You pegged me down because I had issues with basically based off the fact of what they've done. Because, as we all know, sports are about what have you done for me lately, and the Sharks haven't given a shit.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's like, Gordon, he's smart when it comes to, he knows stuff can happen, but we based it off of what we've seen lately, mainly. That's why we predicted the Hawks to go all the way to the conference final, or the final, pretty much, actually. Right now?
You never know what can happen. I mean, let's think about Nicoletti. Let's think about Nicoletti.
Oh, jeez.
Exactly.
We'll get into the Hawks and Blues right now, real quick. Did we cover everything from the East?
Yeah,
we talked Panthers, Islanders at the start. Mm-hmm. Yes, I think we did. Yeah. Okay. Now the fun stuff. Actually, Wild Stars I haven't paid attention to really.
Yeah, wait, hold on. Let me give you that.
Run down that real quick before we get into Hawks and Blues.
I'll do this really quick. Game 1, Stars dominated. Game 2, Stars dominated. And then, this is where Lindy Ruff started becoming a questionable coach. He was already a questionable coach with Buffalo when, you know, you get the answer, and your team is 6-12. Your team is 6-12 now, Lindy. What are you going to do? When you get the answer, I don't know, and then he gets to leave with his coaching duties the very next day. Now, Lindy Ruff says he wants to do a goalie rotation in the playoffs, which is, like, I'm just sitting here like, oh no, that screws
Here
with
we
confidence.
fucking go again.
It screws with confidence, for one. 2, Niemi's a choke. 3, you were doing fine with letting him in your first 2 games, and you lose game 3. What do you call it? Did they lose game 3? Yeah, I think they did.
Yeah.
They lost game 3. Did they win game 4? Yeah, they won game 4, and then they lost game 5 in overtime, and guess who was the goalie in that match?
Niemi?
Yep.
The choke.
Yeah, and it's Antti Niemi, once again, just throwing the game right up to Minnesota. But yeah, that was that series, and the series is 3-2 right now. They're headed to game 6. They're headed to game 6. And that's tomorrow.
I hope the Stars can close it out, but Gordon, what do you think?
For the benefit of my wife, because I don't know, it depends on who wins it between Chicago and St. Louis. If it's St. Louis, I want Dallas to win.
For sure, for sure.
If it's Chicago, I want Minnesota to win. Why? Because they need a little bit of a relief after what they're suffering right now.
Cause yeah, let's just say, I mean, cause Chicago, they're getting back into it, but at the start of the series, they weren't the Hawks. They really weren't playing at the Hawks. Now, we're not gonna jump to that, but let's say the Wild beat the Stars. They beat the Blues because they know how to play the Blues apparently after last year. And then the Blues, let's say the Wild play the Ducks, and they get lucky and beat us. Dan Rosen on NHL at the beginning of the season predicted the Wild to beat the Ducks in the conference final. There's no way somebody can predict that. Because the Wild started off the season terrible and got lucky pretty much later.
Let me say this as a joke. For anyone who's seen the last video, you would know that the Wild won the Stanley Cup in that little simulator thing that we did with the playoffs. Which was scary to me. Just like,
yeah.
And they somehow
Dallas should win this.
Dallas should win this.
I mean, it's
Lindy Ruff is smart.
Defense and goaltending.
Their offense is owned Minnesota's defense. Like really, like
it just
Minnesota's defense isn't all that good, and Dallas has owned them. The only problem has been goaltending, which is, as we said before, an issue. And it's not even letting
the Stars should have kept Martin Jones. I mean, they had him. They traded him to San Jose, or did they trade him to Boston? I forgot how the trade went. I know they traded Jones. They traded Jones for what's his name? Former Sabre goalie. Enroth, yeah. And then I think they traded Jones to Boston, or no.
The Kings had Jones first. The Kings had Jones first.
Yeah, Kings had Jones. They traded him to Dallas. I know that day the Sharks made two trades. They made a trade to Boston. They made a trade to Dallas to get Jones. Yeah, they traded Miami for Jones. Yeah. Okay. So Jones would have been. Maybe we would have seen different. I mean, if that wouldn't have happened, maybe the Kings would still be in it, and maybe the Stars would have, been done because Jones is a lot better goalie than Niemi, in my opinion.
Yes.
So, I don't know. Do you think the Stars can close it out?
If Letton's in, yes, and Niemi's in, Minnesota has a chance. I'm not saying Minnesota will win. I'm saying they have a better chance.
Just let Letton do it. Just this. I know. Either way, I kind of want the Stars to win because one, if the Ducks are going to go all the way, the Stars can help. I mean, the Hawks was a bit easier last year. Other than the first round, they ran through Minnesota, got rested up. Coming off this Blues Game 7, after all the shit they went through, playing the Stars would not be fun the next round. It'd be a lot easier with Minnesota. So if they were to play the Ducks, it would almost be like what the Hawks had to go through in
with Minnesota last year.
In 2014.
You're referencing back.
In 2014, the Kings got him mainly at the end because the Hawks were coming off a cup year. They weren't as motivated. They're the champs. It's hard to kind of get back into it. And then you're coming off after beating the Blues in 6, and I think they beat the Wild in 6.
Blues 6, Wild. Yeah, Wild.
Wasn't it 6?
Yeah, because the Wild.
And then you had to play the Kings in 7.
At home. Yeah, they won both their games at home, and then they had to play the Kings in 7.
If we're gonna beat the Hawks, that's how we got to do it, pretty much. But either way, that's how it has to go. I think the Stars could close them out, but yeah, Letton's got to start, not Niemi. I don't get why they trade for that scrub.
Because they want to challenge Kari Letton because they think he's not doing well enough. I mean, it's obviously a defense in front of him. But Lindy Ruff's the defensive coach, and he feels that if his goalie's not good, it's on them. It's not, the system, the defense around them.
Yeah. So
and they
yeah.
just hired Lindy Ruff, and they're never going to blame it on him. That's not a thing.
So do you want to get into the Hawks and Blues now?
Yes. Would you like to do this, or would you like to do this?
I would like you to do this.
Okay,
this is your series.
Matt was fortunate enough for a good majority of these games to hear my reactions to most of this. And game 1...
Oh, it was fun.
Game 1. They take it.
Wait, real quick before you start. Real quick, sorry to cut you off, but I told you what would happen in this series from the start. I said, don't worry. I know what's gonna happen, and it's happening so far. So, go on, Gordon.
Game 1. It goes to overtime, and I'm just getting war flashbacks from 2013 Game 1 against St. Louis in St. Louis. And what happened in that game was the St. Louis Blues went on to beat the Chicago Blackhawks in overtime, triple overtime to be exact. And this year, it was the same situation, except it was regular overtime, and it was David Backes, like 5-6 minutes through, and I collapsed on the ground like a little baby. It was Backes. It was Backes. It was Backes.
No, I know it was Backes, but was it 6 minutes in?
It was like 6-7 minutes in, yeah.
Also, what did they lose in 2014? You said 2013, wasn't it 2014?
I said 2013. I thought it said 2014.
Did you? It sounded like 2013.
Oh, it
just
was
continue,
2014, just to justify, yeah.
Yeah.
Game 2, this was controversial much.
Oh yeah.
It was a 1-1. No, it was a 1-0 game in favor of St. Louis. Like 3 seconds left in the first period. No, it was the second period. Second period, Duncan Key back off suspension because he was suspended for the first game of the series. Took a shot from the point and just nailed the top corner, and it was tied at 1. With 3 seconds left. Second period, nothing much. Third period is where the controversy goes down because the Blues get a goal, but Quenneville, coach's challenge, and it works.
Coach's challenge.
Coach's challenge, and it works. And then Andrew Shaw gets a goal, and I'm not just being a biased Hawks fan, I'll be completely honest with you. Because they said he made contact with Elliott as he, skated into the crease and took the shot. He skated in, took the shot went in, and then he fell and landed all over Elliott.
Yeah.
And he was being checked as he shot the puck, too, so either way, he was landing on Elliott, but he didn't interfere with Elliott before the shot got in the net. So,
speaking of Andrew Shaw real quick, let's not get into the whole thing. I don't want to... Me and you talked about that for like all day that day. Let's just leave it how it is.
What, the controversy part about that?
That, his suspension.
Oh.
All I have to say is people get too offended these days.
Yeah, people get offended, and I can understand what the whole thing in sports was. There have been some players, I don't know about the NHL, but there have been players that have come out the closet, and that's what we've seen over the years in sports. But, still, I'm pretty sure it has met, some of these guys in the NHL are real dirtbags, and I'm pretty sure that has come out more than once. Shaw, just because he's Andrew Shaw, was probably thought, yeah, he's trying to troll and he went too far.
Oh, for sure. There's been way worse said on the ice. They say worse in the locker room, pretty much.
Exactly. Even Pierre Maguire, when he's down there by the guys, and there are scrums and everything, and there are scrums by him. What's the first thing he does just to avoid things like that? Yeah, Doc, can you turn the microphone off?
Yeah, but with Shaw, it's the word faggot. It's yes, it can be offensive to gay people, but when you're in a sport, when you're a celebrity in general, you're going to hear stuff. You're just not supposed to get offended by it. And hockey is still pretty old school. We don't know these guys extremely personally. I mean, Gordon does know stuff about Evander Kane, but for the most part, it's not as open as football or basketball. So, and it's not even, especially, how old is Andrew Shaw?
Mid-20s, 24, 25?
Mid-20s. So, you hear this all the time anywhere. If you're pretty much from a teenage demographic to, I'll say 20s about, you use these words to everybody and they don't even get offended. There's gay kids in my school, they don't get offended by it.
Well,
it's mainly just people
this is the way the NHL looks at it, and this is the way you should realistically look at it. The NHL looks at it, you're in a profession, be professional. But yet it's the hockey, it's the ice.
Yeah.
People have scrums, people have fights, and especially Chicago, St. Louis, Anaheim and LA. After every scrum there's a whistle, after every whistle things are said. You can't just expect it to just go away, because that's not what's going to happen.
I'm not saying they should walk around and say these words, but I don't think finding him, I get, fine him, but suspension, I mean, it's whatever. Let's just.
It was one game.
We don't want to offend anyone.
Game 3 of this series in Chicago. I was watching this with my friend who's a Blues fan, and I went over his house in the third period, and I really shouldn't have. But first 2 periods, I didn't get to see like a good chunk of the third, but because I was traveling to get to the game. But when I get to the game, you guys know where I am. Go to my friend's house. But first period, Chicago scores 1-0. Second period, no, St. Louis ties it up in the first. Second period, Chicago gets another goal. It's 2-1. Third period, St. Louis ties it up 2-2. Patrick Kane, high stakes. I think it might have been Tarasenko, and there was blood. 4-minute penalty. St. Louis gets the tying goal and the eventual game-winning goal. And that would have been it, 3-2. Chicago did come close at the end with tying it up, but they didn't. And it's 2-1 St. Louis. Game 4.
Well, that's when Shaw got the penalty, right?
No, that wasn't Shaw, that was Kane.
No, at the very end. Remember at the very end?
No, that was the next game.
Was that game 4?
No, that was game 3 we just went over. This game 4 was the game where Shaw got the penalty at the very end.
No, when was it? Yeah, Shaw, when he hits the dude into the post.
Yeah, that was game 4.
That was? Well, actually, about that penalty, there was a Blues player, was it Bomeister? He did the same thing to a Hawks player right next to him. I'm not trying to defend the Hawks. I don't like them, but I'm going to defend them here, actually. The Blues should have had a penalty right there, but they called Shaw for it after.
Dude, there's a lot that he get called in this series. Like, I was like a worry, because I was calling Aaron an idiot earlier because he slashed Tarasenko's stick out of his hand, and they didn't call it.
It was opposite. I forgot what game it was. There was a game in the series that, you know, the Blues weren't getting any calls, and there was a game the Hawks weren't getting any calls. So it's been a little screwed up. Hopefully, game 7 it's more cleaner. But continue game 4.
Game 4, the Blues early taking 1-0 lead. I believe it was one of these 3. Yuri Laterra, J.D. Schwartz, or Vladimir Tarasenko. One of those 3 got it off early. And then I'm panicking. Matt's sitting there telling me it's the Hawks. Don't worry, yeah. Next minute, you know, Andrew Shaw scores a goal. It's all better. What happened in the second period? Second period, Chicago scored another one. It was 2-1 Chicago. Then St. Louis tied it 2-2. Then 3-2 going into intermission. And then St. Louis gets another goal in the third. And that's 4-3. And that's the, like, I was calling it all night. Matt, who did I say was going to score all night because he was due for the Blues?
Tarasenko, was it, or?
Steen.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Like, I'm like, Steen's playing good, dude. He hasn't scored a goal all series. He's due, and it's gonna be the dagger in our throat.
Oh, wait, so Tarasenko already had 2 goals, so yeah.
Dude, Tarasenko's
it was Steve, yeah. Yeah.
And then, what do you call it? Yeah, Keith scores to make it 4-3. I'm just sitting there thinking, oh, they're gonna be back. They have 8 minutes left. Everything will be fine. Now St. Louis locks down defensively, and Andrew Shaw gets that penalty that Matt mentioned. And then there's not much they could do. Empty net was scored by St. Louis, and the Hawks lost that game. And then they're down 3-1, and I'm panicking, and I'm telling Matt how scared I am, and it's over, and it's done. They're done. This isn't the same team. They don't lose 2 straight in the UC, because that's the first time they lost 2 straight in the United Center since 2012.
And I'm telling them, it's the Hawks, and I bet money on this. I told my other friend, you bet $50 pretty much or $25 for a series, the Sharks and the Kings, and then the Hawks and the Blues, and I said, the Hawks will come back. It's the Hawks. And game 5 was a perfect example of that.
Game 5, I'm just sitting here saying, where was the shorthanded goal the other night? Yeah, at the very beginning, Marian Hossa scores a goal that was shorthanded. 8 seconds later, St. Louis comes back and Tarasenko ties it up. And then from there, the second period is a complete blur to me. I don't know why. But the second period,
were the Blues up, or were the Hawks up?
The Hawks were up because they scored another goal. I forget who scored that one. But then at the very end, it was a buzzer beater. What do you call it? Taves got the face off, put it to Kane, put it to Panarin, put it to Kane, and Kane scored, put it to Kane. Kane put it to Panarin, and then they scored the goal off the face off. And then they
Yeah.
had to check and see if it counted. It counted. St. Louis came back in the third and scored 2 straight. And then we're headed to overtime, and I'm just sitting there, Matt, it's over. Dude,
The Blues were dominating in overtime.
the
They
Blues
were.
dominated overtime number 1, and they dominated the end of the third period.
Yeah.
And then what happens after that is first overtime, Matt basically called this one. He's like, if they get a second overtime and second chance, they will put it together and win. I'm like, dude, the way it's
Yeah,
looking
they
now,
did. They definitely regrouped.
The way it's looking now, it's not going to happen. But then I'm going to use a quote that Joe Quenneville used this morning. The bigger the game, the bigger the situation, the bigger Corey Crawford is.
Yeah.
Which is what most people don't get and like irritates me. Like, oh, Corey Crawford's so garbage, dude. Honestly,
Real quick.
go ahead.
Real quick on Corey Crawford. This is the best he's played in the playoffs. All right, he was good last year. He started off kind of slow. 2014, he was not that great, to be honest.
Wait, what was it? 2014.
He was
The Blues.
That was the Blue series, the Wild series, and the King series. So
Yeah, the Blues
Wasn't
series.
that
He
last-
just got by. The Blues series, he just got by. The Wild series was the Wild. There's nothing more you can say about that. The Kings, every goal, it was like the Pittsburgh Phillies. It was just more organized and that kind of.
yeah.
Kind of.
And then last year with Nashville, he was struggling at first. Darling came in, then he came back. He was doing really good. He tore up Minnesota. The Ducks, he had struggles on a few, maybe 3 of the games, I'll say. Maybe 2.5, I guess. But
Game
they got
5,
him.
they shouldn't have been in, but they came back.
Yeah. But this season and mainly the playoffs, he's been playing, he's been dominating. He has been probably the best, maybe one of the best goalies in the playoffs right now. And I was kind of.
I haven't given the guy credit until now, of course. But and we were on game 4. Brian Elliott, up until the last 2 games, has stymied the Chicago Blackhawks because they've had like 40 shots a game still.
But Crawford, came in and he's been dominating. And
Yeah,
but Elliott,
Oh, go ahead.
well, now they're catching up to Elliott now. That's the thing.
Yeah, and this is what I was telling my friend who's a Blues fan. I'm like, they're gonna they should have started Allen. Like, I'm telling you, dude, Elliott is there to be cracked, and if he can't, then I don't know what to tell anybody. The Chicago Blackhawks crack everyone. Like, it's just a matter of time.
Yep, ask Freddie Anderson. I love the dude, but it happened.
Yeah, and let me, where was it? Game 4.
5,
Game
overtime.
5
Overtime, second overtime.
Second overtime, Patrick Kane comes around. Deeks, I think it was Jaden Schwartz he made, or it was Schwartz or somebody else that he made fall and just do a split in the middle of the ice. Deeks through, goes behind the net, like banks the puck off the boards, comes back around. Elliott goes down and Kane backhands it in the net.
Yeah.
And my
That was one of
reaction
those
was
Patrick
the
King
best
goals
thing.
ever.
It really was. He created his own opportunity. Like, okay, this is getting ridiculous. We're not, no. And then just like everybody, just makes everybody, okay, get out of my way. I'm celebrating.
And you could say, well, Bowmeister was stepping on his stick on Elliott's, but
Yeah, but that's
it
not
was going in
interference
either
any
way.
That wasn't.
Yeah.
Because like, Elliott was complaining, oh, well, that was interference. By your own player, dude. No one else.
Yeah. That's your problem.
Like, that's your problem, your player. That's no one else's
Yeah,
problem.
so Game 5 probably the best of them out of all the games. Game 1 was I'll admit was pretty good, but Game 5 definitely the best. This next one is crazy, and Gordon, I haven't been able to watch it, but after you texting me and telling me what was going on, just sounds like chaos. Go into it.
I almost puked, vomited, and crapped myself, and bled. I don't even know how it would have bled, but bled somehow. I don't know. I don't understand how it would have happened, but it would have happened. This was a bit intense. So let's put it this. Okay, so it starts out like if you've seen any of our NHL games, actually we've only done Game of Random once. So if you've seen any of those games, you know that I try and just like pursue the puck and just completely offensively slam that. Sometimes it works to my benefit, sometimes it doesn't. But that's what the Hawks were doing at first, and they got a goal out of it immediately. Andrew Ladd scored, and then they forgot how to play defense for about 5 minutes. And St. Louis came back with bam, 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 3 straight. And then, what do you call it? Quenville was asked before, you know, when Pierre McGuire goes and interviews the coach during the commercial break. Oh, what's the problem here, coach? What's the problem here? Oh, you know, we've lost sense of defense. We came out and tried to get a little too offensive. Are you worried? No nerves, basically. He basically told them no nerves. And they held it down and held together for the rest of the period. St. Louis still did dominate the rest of that period. But it calmed down. It calmed down immediately. Second period, Chicago basically said, well, we'll take your 3 goals and we'll raise you 3 more. And
Yeah.
we get one of the best goals that Trevor Van Riemsdyk will probably ever score in his career, where they rush the net and he falls straight into the net, but yet scores before landing like toward Elliott or on Elliott. And I just want to mention this chance too. This is the definition of going hard to the net. Andrew Shaw went hard to the net on this play, and like, what do they call it? Quenville was asked, what do you expect from Shaw? Him to go in the net. And he goes hard in the net and literally flies in the net. And he's stuck in there with Allen. I'm sorry, Allen. With Elliott.
Elliott.
They had to blow the whistle because no one could really move. And at this point, I'm thinking there's a penalty. Nope. But yet, that was one goal scored. Dale Weiss scored a goal. And I think the other goal came from Richard Tonic. And at that point, it was 4-3. And then, as we go into the third, and let's put it like this. After the one goal that they scored, or, I don't know, it might have been after they tied it up, the crowd, during the entire commercial break, like, Pierre McGuire had to scream to, analyze the play when they scored that one goal, and during the commercial break, Emmerich said they were standing the whole entire commercial break, and they were extremely loud the entire time. So, Eddie Olczyk put it perfectly in the beginning of the game. They need the crowd to, win this game because they know that they're up against the brink. And the crowd, I thought I wanted it this bad. And the crowd was like, well, if they get eliminated, it's not that bad. But they want it. They want it bad. They want to repeat. They want to, because it's in question of whether they have a dynasty or not. They want it. But in the third period, the Hawks had one more, they had one more power play. And this is probably one of the most beautiful things I've seen from Patrick Kane. Matt, you'll see how those plays, Patrick Kane will stall it out and pull under the puck, right? And nobody will pursue him because they're scared, I do that, I open him up for a pass and they can score right there.
Yeah, pretty much you get him. Yeah, I mean, they go after him. He makes a nifty little pass to somebody who they're not watching, and it goes in.
Yeah, so I'm just going to say Jonathan Toews said he would break out in this game. And he did, really show up. Like, he might not have scored the goals, but he could definitely tell he was there. He was helping on plays. He was being defensive. But this is a play where Toews comes down the ice, passes it to Kane. And then Kane goes behind the net. Like, where you're watching now, that you see right behind the net right there. He sits right there. He sits and sits and sits. And then he fakes like he's going to go one way. Like, pass it the other way to Andrew Shaw, and Andrew Shaw puts it in the net. Like, people may rip Andrew Shaw and say, oh, he's not that important. The dude does it all. He's basically like a more physical version of
He gets the timely goals.
Yeah, he gets like, Andrew Shaw is the definition. Like, the dude plays the power play now. He plays very important key moment power plays. Oh, yeah, and the other goal I forgot to mention. When it was 3-2, they got the second goal. Anisimov's goal was, like, you know how when pucks are in the air, most guys just slap them out of the air, like, and they don't care whether they're off above the crossbar or not?
Yeah.
Anisimov. This dude is brilliant. Like, even with St. Louis players around him, the puck's in the air, it's like above the crossbar. He doesn't smack it out in the air. It gets below the crossbar and he whacks it in.
Damn.
That was awesome. And I think Panarin created that. Yeah, Panarin created that play. But at the end of the game, they get an empty netter. And they got that Patrick Kane goal before the empty netter. So that was pretty much it. And they go on to win Game 5 and have 5 unanswered goals. What is the only thing about it? 4. But
Game 6.
Yeah. That's Game 6. And that was incredible. Your thoughts on hearing that, Matt?
I mean, I told you they'd come back, and they did it, and we were kind of talking about this. I mean,
you have to watch that first, and then you see how bleak it looks when it's 3-1 immediately.
I believe you, but listen, it's the Hawks. I've seen them down millions of times. They've came back.
Detroit, LA.
For better and for worse.
Yeah.
LA, the Ducks, the Sabres.
What do you
Fucking
call it?
everybody. You can
they're
name them
like
all.
12. I think they're like 12-1 in Game 6.
They're crazy good in that. Especially when they're up against the wall. That's when they play their best. Game 7, what to expect? I think Taze is gonna.
Oh yeah, Taves is gonna get a couple goals. Taves will have 2 goals and like 3 assists. The way he plays the match, you'll definitely tell.
He's gonna be everywhere.
It's like a baseball player breaking out of a slump. Like he'll start to get hits. He'll get hits every day. The homers aren't there yet, and then this is where Taves hits 2 home runs.
And but we were also at the Blues. We were saying, you know, they're probably gonna start Elliott, but I was even saying once the Hawks get into your head, it's unless you played them a few times before, it's really hard to get them out.
Yeah, because the guys are like, and the only reason this conversation started is because they went back to the guys on the NBC real quick before they went back to you know, air the local news that was going on in my area. They're like, well, like Liam McHugh is like, if you are Ken Hitchcock, do you start coming into the year? Jake Allen was supposed to be the guy. He was the #1 guy. He was your future. He was young. He was doing great. He was one of the best young guys in the league. And then Jake Allen gets injured twice. Brian Elliott plays really good, best save percentage in the league, and you play him in the playoffs. You play Jake Allen now. You throw him in Game 7. Mike Milbury is like, no, just because you had a couple debacles against Chicago doesn't mean anything. You keep Elliott in because he's the guy who's like stymied these guys all series.
Yeah, but now he's also the one that, you know, help let them come back. I mean, once you get that thought of, uh-oh, the Hawks are coming back, you know they're going to get you something, the thought gets into your head, and it sticks there, and that's when they get you. Putting Jake Allen in, I say do it because maybe it can be like how Gibson came in. I was saying, like how we did with the Kings when Hiller was losing and Anderson got injured, so, like, okay, we'll throw in Gibson. Get to shut out his first playoff game against the Kings.
Actually, you know
Not sure if Jake Allen can do that, but, you know, if he comes in with that confidence like you were saying, maybe something can happen, but I still think the Hawks...
I think I might agree with Mike Milbury, now that I've thought about it more. And that's weird for me to say, just let me justify that really quick. Let's think about this. Matt, I want you to answer me this question. Since 2012, how many goaltenders have the Blues had? Like, that have been, you know, like, oh, this guy can start in the playoffs, this guy can start in the playoffs. How many goalies were there in 2012?
Oh, jeez. I don't even know.
There were two. It was Elliott and Halak. 2013, Elliott and Halak.
Yeah.
2014, Halak gets traded to Buffalo. Buffalo, they immediately trade him for Neuwirth.
Yeah, and then they get...
Literally,
well,
like
Halak was on...
days later.
That was to the Islanders, right?
Yeah, they traded him... No.
Okay. Oh, no, to the Capitals.
Yeah, they traded Halak to the Capitals. That's the year.
And then he went to the... See,
made
Halak's... Yeah, that's right.
And they were carrying, I think, 4 goaltenders. They were carrying... Oh, wait, no, that's when they got rid of him. So they were carrying... Like, yeah, because the trade was for Neuwirth.
3.
Because Neuwirth wasn't happy. They were carrying Grubauer,
Yeah.
Neuwirth, and Holtby. Not Neuwirth. Grubauer,
Yeah.
Holtby, and Halak.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm going to put it this way. 2012, 2013, 2014. And Ryan Miller, not to be mean, I love the guy. He's the reason I even went to my first hockey game because he got me tickets and stole the story for another day. But the dude, he kind of collapsed under the pressure of Chicago, and I mean,
Well, he did good at first.
I'd say decent because they had a 3-0 lead in Game 1. St. Louis did, and Chicago came back.
Yeah.
Game 2.
Yeah.
Game 2, he did all right, but then they got a couple power plays, and I mean, when Chicago gets a power play in the playoffs and they're down, what do you really expect?
But when they're in overtime is when he was really, if you look at some of those saves.
Yeah. Game 3, he let one crummy goal, and that was basically the story of the game because the Hawks won 2-0, but the other goal was an empty net. So it's basically saying you play to get a Crawford, you have to that game, you take that game, overtime. Well, who knows what happens from there. Game 4, Patrick Kane happened in overtime. Game 5, Jonathan Tays happened in overtime. Game 6, they got bombarded and lost.
Wow.
But oh yeah, and last year they went with Elliott. Elliott did horrible. Went with Allen. Allen did bad. Went back to Elliott. Went back to Allen. It's not even that Allen did bad that one game, but it was just like they weren't scoring goals like they are this year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, honestly, honest opinion, because I just think you might get the same as what you got last year against Minnesota. Take with Elliott, because he's been the guy that's been in all series, and you've switched goalies for years, and where has that gotten you? I mean, first round. And these are St. Louis teams that have been cup-bound.
Either way, I say Hawks win. You can put whoever in. They're going to win the series.
Hawks win 5-4.
Not even that close. 5-3. 5-2 maybe.
Vladimir Tarasenko
What's the
has been a
Hawks?
monster in this shit. The line of Tarasenko,
Don't shut him down.
Schwartz have been. They shut Tarasenko down in that, but he still got a goal. Any Vladimir Tarasenko goal can be decisive at any point. Because what do you call it? Pat Foley had an interesting stat, and the Brant team went on the other night. Now I think it's about 85%, but it was 96% at one point. 96% of these games have been one-goal games.
Jeez, yeah.
So,
But
if Tarasenko and Laterra are as active as they've been, it's going to be dangerous. It's going to be scary.
yeah, but you also got to take, I mean, Kane, Panarin, and of course, Jonathan Tays, and even Andrew Shaw. Probably one of the best Hawks this series. Yeah, and you swapped to see? Even Ladd, if they all bring it, say, hey, we can come back to 3-1. Yeah, like Ladd said, didn't he say, when you're with a team that can just have no nerves?
Interviewed him after the game, and like, Ladd is like, how do you feel about, being in the situation with this team? He's like, he's like, when you're in the locker room with guys who basically don't feel like, or who are basically emotionless to any of this, it keeps you pretty calm. Because when guys are panicking, you don't want to be in that room.
So, if they know, hey, we came back 3-1, we dominated in Game 6, we've beaten teams on the road before, they beat the Ducks in Game 7 last year home, they can beat the Blues in round 1, you can start Allen, you can start Elliott, maybe you do go Elliott again. Either way, I say the Hawks got the series.
See, the problem for them earlier is the Hawks did something that they only do in the regular season, and that they really don't break out in the playoffs. And you break something like this out in the playoffs, it can really bite you if you have so many guys with ice going through it. But they use the weapon is the blue line stretch pass.
Yeah.
And it really, like, St. Louis couldn't stop it because, the Hawks utilize their speed because, like I said to Matt earlier, most of the players on St. Louis are 6'4", 6'5", over 215. So, Chicago has, obviously a smaller lineup, which warrants them more speed. So, Quinville basically went into the first initial he said, we can't beat them on the body, even though Chicago was throwing out hits tonight too, which is like, wow. Like, guys like Seabrook and Keith were hitting, and they don't really do that often, even though when they were younger, they used to do it all the time. But those guys were hitting, Shaw was hitting, they were throwing hits, they were using speed, and it was working out to their benefit.
Yeah.
So they were using a stretch pass, and even Pierre Maguire was saying this too, Matt. He was like, it just seems like when Chicago starts to get an advantage, St. Louis doesn't know how to get it back. When St. Louis gets an advantage, they don't know how to score enough, or they don't know how to keep the advantage for long enough.
Yeah.
Washington's got a large lead in this
game.
So,
wait, what were we gonna say?
I was in this closing kind of like, I think the Hawks got in their heads, and this is where it cost them. If the Blues were meant to win the series, they would have done what the Sharks did and ended it in 5. They couldn't do it. I say the Hawks got them.
I would say that too, but then even when they were beginning to do this in 2011, when they came back against the
2011.
Remember when
the Hawks are way different than they were in 2011.
But still, these memories pop into your head. But they came back against Vancouver.
Those are nerves. They don't have nerves anymore.
Oh, yeah, true.
But they overcome these things. if an interview were to ask Taves about, they're like, what about 2011? It's like, that was years ago. This is today, pretty much.
Oh yeah,
We're gonna
like
go
with
in.
here,
play our
McGuire's
game.
probably gonna ask him on
We're gonna
him or
win it.
Taves on him, Taves or Keith on Monday. Nerves? None.
Yeah, exactly, because they overcame them. Now back then, I mean, they only had one cup until they really. The Hawks they're at the best time. Maybe last season was their best time when they won because they know how to win in every situation. They know they can come back. They know they can win in overtime. They know they can win in regulation. They know they have the roster to crack any team pretty much. All they have to do is get in their head, creep up on them, and you end it. They're gonna do that to the Blues.
I think you 100% learned that last year when I was saying.
Absolutely.
Oh, well, I'm like, oh, they'll get to Anderson. You're like, no way, dude. Like, there's no possible. Next thing you know,
I knew. I said they would get to, but I'm just saying, if we're scoring how we've been doing, then we should be fine. They got them. I think maybe this year might be a bit different because we have more experience, and I think the Hawks are the way for that if it pays off in the long run. Because, like our Ross, the Ducks said, even Anderson, they said, you know, that loss really hurt, and we learned a lot from it. Same with the Hawks. They've had those losses, they've learned from it, and that's how they're so good now.
Well, this is what I'm going to say. I said the only way the Hawks can beat the Ducks if they do play them. It's the same thing with the Blues. Like, the Blues, well, I say the Blues are faster than the Ducks, but not by even much, but
We're more dangerous, to be honest, than the Blues.
yeah, but the way the Hawks beat you guys is utilize your speed. Utilize what brought you to the dance.
I think our series this year, if the Ducks beat the Hawks, it's going to be a lot different than what they were from last year. We're going to be more experienced. If you look a lot last year, we didn't have an experience against a team like you guys before. We came very close, and just like the Ducks do, each year they get closer and closer. I think this is the year they could beat the Hawks, but maybe the Hawks can still win. I'm not saying it's positive, but I think they have it in them to do it.
Well, I'll give David Backus this much. I mean, and I'm pretty sure Tesla can do the same. David Backus has done a great job of shutting down Jonathan Taves.
Kessler's one of the best shutdowns in the league. You want to look at the last time the last Hawks game. We had some playoff games here. You guys beat us when we weren't scoring, but then last game, it was your secondary scoring pretty much, and then of course the Seabrook goal. But Kane and Taves, I'm not saying this would happen in the playoffs, but for that game, as crazy as it was, they both had 2 shot on goals total, and Panarin, who was white hot at the time, had none. So, but plus, like you were saying earlier, then now we have the depth this year that we didn't have last year. We have McGinn on a target 4th line, and if you put him on any line, that's where we gotta take advantage.
Well, at the same time, I can also counter with the counterpoint that knowing how Chicago plays and knowing how things work, if tonight and the other night have any indication to do with anything, you have guys.
Exactly.
I'm not even like a fan of the guy, but you have guys like Mr. Connick scoring, Andrew Ladd's finally doing something. Andrew Shaw's been, work. I don't anybody might be up there, but I mean, you want to talk depth? Like,
you guys have it too.
Have a lot of depth, yeah. So either way, it's a series.
And that's where you're going to take up. Yeah, exactly. But that's going back to it. That's how, with that depth, that's another reason why I think you guys will take out the Blues on Monday.
I mean, dude, they have quality depth too, and guys like Schwartz and.
Yeah, but they don't have the leadership like the Hawks, or the experience.
He's about to be quite a leader.
He is, but are you really saying Backus is on the Taves level?
I mean,
No.
The mentality, they had a great idea coming into this. We don't care who your players are, we're just going to play our game. I mean, at the end of the day, like if they worry about, oh, well, that's Patrick Kane on another one, that's, like, David Backus' mentality has worked for him thus far because Jonathan Taves hasn't seen a red light flash in his name on the board.
You can say that stuff, but can you back it up?
Well, Backus has to this point. I mean, his team was, but they aren't now.
Yes, but a captain is supposed to lead his team and say, hey, let's close them out now. don't hang around and wait until, you know, the last minute to see if we can end it in Game 7. You know, a leader's supposed to tell you, you know, this is it right here. If we give them this chance, this could give them that momentum to come back and make the game even harder. This game's gonna be hard, but we gotta close it out now. He could not lead his team to do that. Hayes has done it before. I mean, Hayes is better than Backus. Yes, Backus is great. He's been great the whole series, but as a leader, Hayes is pretty much the best in the league.
This is my question here, and it comes down to that. And you know, here's my question: does it, like, I don't know how I'm trying to, like, I know Getzlaf's the captain in the Ducks, and I know last year, like, people were questioning his leadership. Like, they're like, oh, this, like, I've heard people like, this reminds me of the Joe Thornton situation. It's Getzlaf a real leader, because when it comes down to those big moments, he doesn't really have much to say. Like, one of the sound bites he gave me this year that really, like, sounded like, that, you know, was ear-shattering to you, that you mentioned to me this year was, well, it's hard to be good when you know the crowd's not cheering for you. Like, that was something to me that, like, wait, what?
Yeah, it's kind of.
And it took Bruce to call the team out.
Yeah, Getzlaf, he's a captain, but there's something a bit missing that, you know, he needs to be more serious.
This is what I'm saying.
He's kind of.
I'm not trying to be like. I'm not trying to, well, you guys ever seen the wrong captain? If Kessler was the captain, I don't think this would be a problem.
Kessler's kind of quiet, though. I mean, he is a leader, too, but, you know, Getzlaf is the captain. If Getzlaf is playing good, the entire team plays good. It's just up to him to play in Game 6, 7. I think Getzlaf knows now that, hey, you know, after what happened last year, if you really think about it, he's been our captain, and he's only made it to the playoffs with us as captain, I think about maybe 4 or 5 times about.
Yes, but even 3 times itself is like, oh, okay, I've got this now.
But, well, yeah, but I mean, look at Steve Yzerman. He didn't perform in the playoffs at all back in the day, and look what he turned his team into when he was late in his career. I think Getzlaf can do that. I mean, we've gotten deep, but I mean, he has to legit do it. He has to do it for me to really believe it. I know he has it in him, but he has to do it. He has to go out there and show. I think he's doing it this series too. Yeah, Bruce called out that team, like so did Getzlaf on the next game. Because game, he said, just because we won, you know, 2 games does not mean it's over. Let's end this as quick as possible, pretty much. So saying, and Kessler helps out too. Believe me, him and Kessler are perfect, because Kessler helps back it up too, because Kessler's lost in Game 7, he said last year, you know. I think, I'll give you that about how you were saying you weren't worried about Kessler, but I think with Kessler's assistant gets off his captain, that's how you gotta do it. Because Kessler even said, you know, when you have a team on the edge of Game 6, you need to close them out. I think bringing them two together is going to help us with the Predators and even with the other teams going forward.
Well, I don't think that's really a threat at all. Like, I hear Shea Weber is like a local captain, but I don't think his message gets through. Like, yeah, like I said, I don't think his message really gets through.
It's almost like a two thing. It's not, I'm not gonna say we have 2 captains, but I think Getzlaf needs Kessler and Kessler needs Getzlaf pretty much.
Getzlaf is the guy who's vocal about it. Kessler, not you know what I mean. Other way around. Getzlaf, like Kessler can be about it, but like Getzlaf, like who's supposed to like really be the one providing the points and the goals more than Kessler is.
Because before Getzlaf had no really backup on the lines. I mean, we had the veterans like Koivu and Solani, but they're my favorite. I mean, some of my favorite guys. Solani's my favorite of all time, but you didn't have a legit second line guy, a veteran that was also can feel the pain. And Kessler felt it, and I think he's gonna help a lot too in the next game, saying, you know. And I think the Hawks again from last year, because I hope this year's Game 6 will be different than the one before. So, can we jump into the next series now, talk about the games?
Yeah, go ahead.
Alright, so, we'll get more into Kessler and Getzlaf toward the end of the series about when I get talking to it. So game 1, I got to go to it, my first ever playoff game. The Ducks lost 3-2 in a rough game. What? I'm not going to blame Gibson. There were a few saves he could have made. 2 of them mainly, but at the same time, defense was the problem in that game for sure. And we were just dumping the puck too much and not really getting possession. We almost came back at the end. Couldn't do it. Just a rough game. Same thing in game 2. Bad defense. I hate blaming the refs, but they were not calling shit in this game for the Ducks. There were a few calls on them that they didn't call for the Predators that we should have been in the box for, but they really did not help us out that much in this at all, when they should have been. It's kind of hard when, you know, the refs aren't calling all the, oh, well, we can do this because we've been doing it all game, then you do it and there's a penalty, so. I'm not going to use excuses. Once again, definitely wasn't Gibson's fault in this game. This bad defense, but you needed a spark for game 3. They bring Freddie Anderson in, and he gets a shutout. He was absolutely phenomenal in the game. Phenomenal, not bad. And he really helped us out. We got some scoring. Guys like Nate Thompson stepping it up, Andrew Cogliano, Getzloff, and McGinn, and even Stewart. They all brought it pretty much, and and it was great. And then so right there, those past 2 games, now going. So when we're gonna tie it up, I think that's when. Oh yeah, that's when Getzloff scored early. So he's been tearing it up in this series. He's probably been our best player. And then who else scored that one? Cogliano scored in that. McGinn scored. He's also been tearing it up. And who else scored in that game? I want to say Thompson again. Yeah, they've been. So, and we tied it. We came in again. Well, Anderson led in 1 goal this time, but phenomenal pretty much. Now today's game was a bit rough. It seems at home that our defense was lacking. Fowler was not doing that good at the start. He's been probably the weakest Duck in the whole series. But, you know, so Nashville scores first, and immediately after, David Perron scores, who's also been he's been screwing us lately, because even on the last game, not today's game, but the one before, game 4, every time we got a power play, it seemed, or twice about, Perron screwed us over immediately and made it 4-on-4 hockey. He scores immediately on this one, and then Garbett steps in, and then, so it's 2-1 now. Wells scored after that. Garbett, and then, shit. I'm trying to think. Was it? Well, Kessler didn't score yet. Wasn't. I'm trying to think. Who scored next?
Wasn't it
everybody who pretty? Oh, Vatanen. Vatanen scored.
Wasn't it
He goes in the
Vatanen?
box. Yeah, Vatanen got a breakaway and scored. That's right. And then Nashville scored to make it.
Wait, didn't Silverberg give it to Vatanen though?
Yeah, he passed just amazing pass. Vatanen had a breakaway and scored. And then you know, Nashville scores, so it's down by 1. And so once again, this game, Freddie was amazing at the start. Well, I say because there was a save, it was a 2-on-1, and if you have a chance to save Gordon, just try. I know you don't like Anderson that much, but amazing. He bailed us out a shit ton in this game because the defense was lacking, but then Cam Fowler scores on the power play, and then Kessler, actually he kind of got elbowed. He would have hit the empty net, but then Getzloff just passed it back to Kessler, and then gets in the empty net, and we win 5-2. It was a rough game, but it was just defensively mainly. That's been our strength all year. So, and even in or game 3 actually, in pretty much game 4, Nashville came harder, but especially game 3 and yeah, I guess game most of 4, our defense was really good. Just Fowler was kind of shaky, but you know, if we can play our game, I think we can take game 6. I know now it's one of those feelings that, you know, if we go in there game 6, don't try to eliminate them, because Kessler said last year, when you have a team that is so talented, you need to close them out as soon as possible, because we do not want to go to another game 7 And maybe if they do, and we do beat them in Game 7, it gets us over that hump, knowing, oh, hey, we could win in Game 7 to help us, but I think we gotta end it in 6. What?
Like, if something does happen to the point where Game 7 does need to happen, and you guys do win it, I hope you get over the hump. There's no way that I see Nashville winning the series, but still.
They still can, but we need to play. They're gonna come. This next game is gonna be the hardest, but we need that. Just like your Kessler gets off, need to get the team together and say, you know what, let's do it. Perry needs to score a goal. We need Perry to score. It came close.
Like against Nashville, you can afford Corey Perry. You can afford Corey. Like Taves and Kane were getting shots on goal too, dude. But against Elliott, that was doing nothing for them. You guys are lucky enough where you guys have offensive firepower and depth where it comes down to the point where it's Nashville, and you can crack Pecorino. I'm not trying to say very easily, but you can crack Pecorino, and you know what I mean. Like next series against the Sharks, it has to happen. Martin Jones is no.
He is no joke, but Perry, he knows Martin Jones pretty well. He does. I'm not going to jinx it, but if you look up, Ducks versus Kings when Jones is in goal and Ducks Sharks on a few, you'll notice Perry, let's just say. So, and Rene's better than Jones. Now, Jones is, maybe you can say now Jones is kind of more hot at the moment, but yeah, Perry does need to be there for the next one. But I think if we can get Perry rolling on this next one, we got it pretty much. Just have Kessler shut down the Johansson line and Forsberg and Neal and all them. Yeah.
You can't be there for all. And
we get the depth scoring, mix with some Perry. I think we can end it in 6. I think it'll be hard, but it'll probably be a 1-goal game. I don't think it'll be like today's, but I think we can do it.
Okay, this is what I'm going to say, because I've really just thought about this. Like, you're worried about the series. I'm personally not. I from last year, I know this team, and they've just really honored Johansson, and he's been good, but I'll say this much. If you guys can't end
he scored
game,
today.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying, if you guys can't end it, I'm a bit worried.
For Game 7?
Yeah, I'm a bit worried for Game 7 if you guys can't end it in 6.
Yeah, because then it's like,
I know you guys are better.
Kessler would just be like Getzlaff. It's just all talk then. You say you need to close out the teams in Game 6, well, we need to do it first instead of saying it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but do you think we can do it on Game 6?
I guess.
I think we can. We got Rene pretty much. It just...
Like I said, it's not going to come down to Pecorino being good. Well, actually, this is what it comes down to for me. You guys need to win the series next game, and if you don't, then Game 7 is anybody's to win. That's how I feel about it.
Exactly. It might be just like Detroit in a way. The Detroit series we had a few years back.
Yeah, I remember that.
Almost.
Yeah, because the Ducks were...
Or it can be like the Kings. They were up 2-0, and then we came back, but they won Game 6 and 7.
Yeah, home teams are miserable in this series. Home teams are 1-3 in this series. Not 1-3.
Yeah.
1-4 in this series. And
it's crazy.
And Nashville goes back home next game, and you've basically shut that home crowd up. Which honestly, they have a loud crowd in the playoffs, but it's not like up there and like the loudest crowds in the playoffs. Like Detroit was nuts this year.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, Detroit was nuts. Go ahead.
But well, yeah. I mean, they're loud, but they were loud the last one, especially the last game. But we figure out a way to win. We gotta do that the next one. I think so. Gordon, can we pretty much end it with? The Ducks should win it. And the Hawks should win it, pretty much. These series that we're mainly talking about.
The Ducks should win, yes. And if they don't, that's just such a disappointment because
it is.
It would be Nashville versus San Jose, and I'd be rooting hard for Nashville. I'm not gonna lie to you because I know San Jose.
Oh yeah. Well, either way, I hate them both. I'll just wait for one of them to meet Chicago, hopefully. But yeah, I guess we can close with that. The next podcast we'll probably be doing is before round two. We'll do a round two prediction only, not like round three. Maybe we'll talk about that, who we think we'll see. But it'll be a lot clearer, and we'll be back up here for then. So,
That'll
Gordon,
probably be
you want to...
what, Thursday?
About, yeah.
Okay, so until then... Man, you're going to sleep about this time, aren't you?
I might be up for a little bit. I just gotta do a few things. Yeah, I'll be up for a bit.
I was gonna say, in this video, game of random?
Give up. Let's see. Well, my controller is not working right now. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's, we can do
I tried NHL this morning.
You know what we could do?
What?
Shootouts.
Yeah, I can't run in the shootout though.
You can still deke.
I'm not good at deking. This running's what I do.
All you have to do is basically just, back and forth with the analog stick. As long as you don't go backwards, you're fine.
Alright, invite me to it.
I can turn off the rule where you,
Here, we'll do Ducks versus Hawks. Shootout.
Alright. Do you want to do it in this video, or you want to make a separate video for it?
Just do it in this one.
Alright.
Here, invite me. Talk about something. I'll be right back. I'm gonna get something to drink. Okay?
Alright.
Okay. So just keep me entertained.
To help him. Shootout rules off. Goalie mode. Oh no, fuck that. Round shots 5. I can make it up to 8 shots actually. We're gonna do the most entertaining format we possibly can. Here, that would be 8 rounds. The shootout rules are off. All right, guys. I plan to beat this kid with the Hogs. You just shut that. You gotta shut that Ducks level up. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Okay. Waiting for opponent. You're turn to the application, so both microphone audio and okay. All right, everyone. I guess what's really to say about this is, I mean, that Hawks game was epic tonight. I'll say, like, it has been the series of the playoffs thus far. Hawks and, it may sound a bit biased, but if you've seen that series, you would know. Like, the only dud games, if I'm really... Game 1, no. Game 2, no. Oh, you know what? That was probably the closest thing to a dud, but it was still close, and there was still controversy, so I don't even know if I can say that. Game 3... No, Game 4 was the only dud out of everything. That was probably the... Yeah. Ay. So, it's probably the only dud game I'll say out of that. Where do I see Tampa next? Let me think about that. I'm just, like, at this point, just thinking about random things that I just want to, clear up here. I see Tampa, maybe, yeah, I can see them beating Florida. If they beat Mrazek and they beat Detroit, I can see them beating Florida. Now, do they crash into a wall when they hit Washington and Pittsburgh? I, per se, don't know, honestly. But I'll say this much. When it comes to Tampa Bay, it's hard with them. Like, it really, like, I don't know. If they see Washington or Pittsburgh, I guess the best thing for me to really say is Washington or Pittsburgh. Yeah, I can maybe see them getting past Pittsburgh. Washington, I don't know. Pittsburgh, maybe, but I don't see them. But yeah, Tampa Bay is a mystery to me because it was the first round and it was, I'm not going to say like a bad Detroit team, but it was most definitely. Okay. So, that was, yeah. that was really about that, but not that was about that. But at this point, we're just waiting for Matt to get back. Okay. So that's how I wait for Matt. As he said, what we're doing is Ducks and Blackhawks shootout. So I'm just waiting for him so we can, get that going. Sounds like Matt's back.
Gordon,
Yep.
are we still on?
Yeah.
All right. Did you invite me?
Yeah, I did. I really want some of those sneakers. I don't know why, but I want some of those sneakers. You know the reflector ones?
How much shit did you talk on the Ducks while I was gone?
I didn't. I just talked about Tampa Bay mostly.
Oh, okay.
I talked about like they're a mystery to me. If they can get past Florida, they may meet a roadblock at Washington, and if they run at Pittsburgh, I think they have a chance of beating Matt Murray. I think they do.
Yeah. We'll see. Whoever Tampa plays, though, it's going to be epic.
I honestly hope they play the Islanders for just the reason of they can beat Thomas Greiss and they can get to the East Final, and then we can get out of Washington and Pittsburgh a very interesting matchup out of,
Yeah, Thomas Greiss has been great.
And I've said since I said he should have been a good goalie when he was behind Niemi, but he never got the chance to. So I never thought he'd be in this situation, and honestly, I'm glad he is. Did you do your roster update?
I didn't take that.
Yeah, it's only a shootout. It doesn't matter.
Can you choose the shootout lineup?
Yeah, you can. You can. All right, Tibbs. Yeah, that's basic.
How is Silverberg an 83 overall in this game?
Panarin's an 85.
All right. Who?
Panarin.
Silverberg has like 20-something goals. He's a beast in the playoffs. Switch out Perron for.
I'm gonna play with Darling. No, I'm only kidding. I'm not that stupid.
Oh jeez.
I turned off shootout rules, just so you know, just so you have more of an advantage here.
Should be good. I'm not that good at shootout, so probably gonna see a Hawks win in this one.
I doubt it.
I'm horrible in the shootout.
Well, I turned off the rule, so you should be able to run around the net and everything. And
that's how it's gonna be like. You just get one shot though.
I put it up to 8 shots.
Come on, Gibson, stop his ass.
Why'd I go to the glove? I should have faked the shot first.
Oh shit.
I hate you, John Gibson.
No, you don't.
The Breadman.
Oh god, please no.
Wait a minute, I can stop in this one. Oh, yes, if I can stop. Why'd I just give my plan away?
What?
You hit Crawford more than you hit the net.
Oh god, Hosa got him. Damn. I didn't fucking.
You know how to shot fake, right?
No. Oh. That's great. You fucking asshole.
Oh, let the puck go. Look at that. Oh.
How do you get
Hold
the
the ball.
score?
Huh?
How do you get the score?
I put it up to 8 shots.
He had an idea, but it didn't work.
Oh, Korkhoff, you're so slow. Oh, that's it.
No, it's not.
Now it is.
You see what I tried to do?
Just missed it.
Let me get my lag switch real quick. Matt, just do my little move. Unless I score here with... Oh, yes. Wait, let me stop in the hash marks. Oh. Gibson's that good with the body parts. He must have any body parts.
His best when it's on the line. And
BXF, and then with the cannon was game.
So, shit.
Rematch, my friend?
Huh?
Rematch, my friend?
Huh?
I said rematch, my friend?
Yeah, let's do it.
No rules, shootouts are the best. I was literally able to
So I
stop
quit?
him. Huh?
Alright, one more.
Do you want the both of us to be goalies so it's easier this time?
Hell no. I hate the goalie
I do
thing.
too. Oh my god, come on, game. It's taking forever to do one simple little task. Check rosters. Okay, here we are. Let me hit the rules up. Do you want regular shots on, or do you want to go to 8 again?
8 again. Or no, just do regular.
So 3 apiece.
Yeah. Just make it normal shootout though.
Oh crap. Hold on. Shootout rules. You want them on, you said, right?
Yeah, just regular.
Oh, crap. I'm gonna actually have to try and deke you out this time. Instead of just sitting in front of you.
Yeah.
Score.
Excuse.
Ew. That's gross. Did the invite send yet? Oh wait, I don't even think I did.
Yeah, I'm in.
Oh.
I'm right about to join.
Oh, okay. Randomizing home and away.
Yeah, I'm here.
Should I play the Sabres or you want the Hawks again?
Yeah, you can do the Sabres.
Those 89s are beautiful. Now let me keep all the garbage players away from the shootout. Giant Molson. Evander Kane, Jack
Hey, he
Eichel,
scored on the
Sam
Leafs.
Bradford. Look, the Leafs are garbage, okay?
True.
I'll take Bogosian before Molson, and I'll move Molson out. Why is Ryan O'Reilly not in this? Actually. Evander, I'm going to move you out for Ennis.
Yeah, Ennis would probably be more deadly in the shootout.
Okay. I have so much faith in my shootout lineup right now.
I'm scared.
Oh, we're in Buffalo, New York, too. Oh, I forgot about Robin Leonard entirely. Root 6'6". No, that does not count.
Ennis is the guy who will lead off for his team.
I had, look at this replay. I had his face.
Public enemy number one.
You
Damn
try
it.
and drag it through.
Yeah, but it didn't work.
I hate that move with a passion. I tried to backhand that over Gibson shoulder. I'm not gonna lie to you. Ryan Kessler. Ooh.
Good.
I haven't seen this in that shot. I'm not that news right now.
Oh! He's the best shootout player for the Ducks.
Every goal that he's had in the shootout has been a game winner. Oh, I didn't. My ace in the hole, if I get to it, is next. That does not work.
Wow.
No.
Can't do shit with Quran.
My ace in the hole, beer ball. Oh! I went out of the parameter. I don't know who's next after this. Oh! How'd you do that?
Stop shot like that?
Oh, what? You faked the shot?
I just held out.
Oh my god. Here goes nothing.
Yeah, it's better.
I hate this America.
Come on, Captain. Ah.
Oh, Captain, no. Matt Molson? I'm sorry. Help me. Oh my god. Lego.
David Legland. Ooh.
Wheels in the leg, man. Yes, handle it. You should have handled it. He has one of the best slaps ever.
Oh shit. Josh George's.
I tried to drag it through myself. Wait, Gordon, you're stupid. And as I realized this, another public enemy. No, Matt. Cow!
Oh shit. Cal O'Reilly beats Gibson. Nope.
Boom. This guy.
Oh.
You know, you practiced with this man before, Magoo. You know how this works.
Oh fuck.
We're gonna get back to the top of the orders.
Here's my favorite duck.
My man, Robin Leonard. Ooh.
Was it Cody Franzen?
Yes.
My second favorite duck.
Is that Perry?
Oh.
Bogo.
Zach Bogo. Ooh. Oh.
I shouldn't have scored well last time. I have the right idea. No one to press.
Oh. Evander Kane.
Oh! You knew what was happening if you didn't get that. Brendan Peary.
Oh.
I have an idea. Ooh, hello, Mark.
Oh.
Dive hole.
Damn,
That was the one
Gibson.
place I didn't aim the entire game with the 5-hole. Can I get a replay of that, please? Okay. Yeah, he never expected it. It went through, and he didn't have room to dive back, so he would knock it in. All right then.
Ah. So.
All right, we'll end the video there. Matt, you got anything to say?
Yeah. No, guys, we'll just be back up here hopefully, yeah, Thursday, when everything's all said and done, for better or for worse.
For better or for worse, and meanwhile, I'm going to update people on what's been going on here. See, I have 2 channels to post on the PlayStation. Sometimes it might be a bit of a pain, or I might get lazy on when it comes to changing the channel. Crap. Changing the channel on, you know, my, in between the channels. In between, you know, the hockey channel we have here, or my actual channel that I have for myself. And Be a Pro will continue where I continue to bash the LA Kings organization. Oh wait, you guys never heard that because I didn't have a mic on for that. But the first episode, to explain it, I didn't want to be part of the LA Kings organization. I got traded to the Winnipeg Jets. Not traded, I signed with the Winnipeg Jets. And now that I'm going to be done with them because I haven't got sent down to the AHL yet, and I had a 1-year contract with them. Hopefully I'll get a 1 year somewhere else and perform way better and get a bigger contract. GM mode, Robin Leonard is the starter. John Gibson is injured because I decided to be such a smart person to turn injuries on, Matt.
That's dumb.
Gibson's out half the year.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And I thought about playing on All-Star now, but with Leonard, I might have to continue to play on Pro.
Jeez.
So I might be canned at that point. But you know what? We'll get to that when we get to that, and I'll probably be tomorrow. Or later tonight, depending on how I'm feeling. But probably not. So, Matt, any closing remarks?
No, I think that's it.
Alright, that's been Matt. I've been Gordon. Thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate it. Remember to like, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, comment for more of that hockey goodness on this channel. And once again, that was Matt. I've been Gordon, and that was hockey. Thank you guys for watching.